Hello, welcome. My name is Tracy. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator here in Australia. Thank you so much for joining me. Today is CASEing the Catalogue day because it's Tuesday. And once again for this month we've been working with the holiday catalogue. We are still working with the holiday catalogue. And for this week I've gone with the Frosted Floral Suite. It's on page 36 and 37. I'm going to show you that page. And then on the other page, this is the stamp set with matching framelits. Once again, these are a bundle. So if you buy them together, you save yourself 10%, which is a fantastic saving. So what I'm going to do is, on the front page here, the card that we're making is this one just here. So let's bring that in. How pretty is that? Now, to me, this all looks like Blackberry Bliss, but it's actually Merry Merlot, which is like a wine colour. But to me, I don't know, in the catalogue and even looking at the card in the camera, it does look like Blackberry Bliss, but it's Merry Merlot. So let's get over to the crafting table and we'll get started. This card is using the Frosted Floral Suite, and this is going to be a really popular suite in the catalogue. Now this card also looks pretty simple, but it's got quite a few different steps. We have used embossing paste along the edge here. We've heat embossed the sentiment, but we've also used the frame that are with this stamp set with the new stamping emboss mats to create the frame embossed in the background. We've used the first frost clear mount set, and this is a 9-piece stamp set, as well as the frosted bouquet framelit dies. Now these are 11 framelits in the die, and I'm using this frame here as well as the larger flower die and the smaller flower die. And there's two of those smaller flower dies, so I'll grab both of those out. And also for the leaves, we've used this leaf die. The inks are Merry Merlot and Pear Pizzazz. We have silver embossing powder. We're using the dark old olive Stampin' Blends marker to colour in the frosted and clear epoxy droplets. Now this is also part of the suite, and these are really pretty. So we have the frosted look and then the clear. Aren't they pretty? So we're going to colour in the clear. The other thing we're using are the party pattern decorative masks to do the background. I've also got the embossing paste, just the white embossing paste. And I've used one of the palettes from, well, these are palette knives to use with the embossing as well. Now I did say about the framelit that I used these Big Shot embossing mats. I just want to bring these in and show you. These are brand new in the annual catalogue, and there are 3 mats that come in it. So there is a hard plastic mat, there is a thin blue mat, which is like a silicone, and then a thicker grey mat. And I'll show you how to do those as we go along. So I'm going to move all this stuff out and let's get started. So we're going to first off, on our matting here, we're going to create this embossed frame. So for the card kit, I have 3 pieces of Whisper White, a Whisper White card base, the matting for the Whisper White, and then another piece for some stamping, the flowers and the leaves later on. Now all the measurements and supplies can be found on my blog, which is in the description of this video. There is also a link to my online store where you can purchase all your Stampin' Up supplies. If you do make a purchase through me, please use that Hostess code and I'll send you out a free gift. So we're working on just the matting first off, and I'm also going to bring in the Big Shot. And to make, using these embossing dies, I have the old magnetic the old multi-purpose platform. So I'm going to put it on tab 1. Then I'm going to have a cutting plate. Then we're going to do the die facing upwards. So we've got the cutting bits on the die, they have to face upwards. And then we have our piece of Whisper white paper. And because I want to center this in the right area, I'm actually going to, so it doesn't move when I'm placing it through the big shot, I'm going to place washi tape down. So I'm going to place that behind there, and using my light, I'm just going to make sure that it is even. If I turn it around this way, it's probably easier to show you. So obviously my die is facing downwards. I want that in the middle. I'm going to place my washi down to keep it into place. And then we're going to place that so the die is down underneath. Like that. The next thing we're going to have after the card is the blue mat. So this really thin one that goes on top, and then that white plate is going to go on top of that. So we're going to run that through the big shot. And that's going to feel like it did absolutely nothing, but I'll take this off. And we have that frame embossed there. Can you see that? There we go. So I'm going to get rid of the big shot for a minute because we want to silver emboss the sentiment first. So bringing in the embossing buddy, I'm just going to bring in the Versamark and the sentiment. And the sentiment actually says, where's my card? Here's to a season filled with warmth, comfort and good cheer, which is really a nice sentiment. Ink up with Versamark. And then I want to try and place that in the middle. I have my silver embossing powder here. Okay, I'm going to heat that up and I'll be right back. So there's the sentiment all lovely embossed. And what I've done is I just ran through a post-it note through with that die, and cut that out. And I'm just going to use that one again. So I'm going to place that down over the top of that sentiment to mask that off. I'm also going to bring in just my cutting mat, and I'm going to place my party mask over the top, bringing in my trusty washi tape. I'm going to tape that down so it doesn't move. You don't have to use much washi tape. I have tons of it, so I'm not too worried about using it up. I just want to make sure that my mask doesn't move. So my embossing paste, this is my second tub. My first tub went hard because I didn't use it fast enough, but what I've found is I always leave that metal piece on, but I also just stick some cling wrap down to try and keep that nice and moist in there as well. So I'm going to grab some out. Just going to place the lid back on. I'm just going to put it down and run it along. Now a little bit goes a long way doing this, so you don't use a real lot, but it gives a great texture to it. Because that post-it note's masking over the sentiment, that's gonna not be ruined. There we go. Got a little bit of extra here, so I'm just going to pop that back into my tub. And I don't leave it on the sides, I try and push it back down into it. If you leave a lot on the sides, it will dry up on the sides as well. And I always keep it in the plastic Ziploc bag that it comes in, that helps as well. Or if you use a lot of it, you won't have to worry about trying to keep the moisture in there. Okay, so I'm going to take the sides off here. So that's what we're left with. I'm going to put that over to dry and then I can take this mask off. And the other thing is to make sure you go and clean all this off straight away. So I'm going to be back in a couple of minutes. So this is one I've done previously, so I'm going to use that while the other one's drying. I'm also going to just fold and burnish my card base. So they're all right to go. Now we're going to do our flowers and the leaves. So bringing in that other bit of Whisper White, I'm going to stamp with the Merry Merlot. I need 2 of the larger flowers. And then the smaller ones, we need 3. Now these leaves here, I've actually used the stamp of this one and stamped on Pear Pizzazz and then cut these pieces out. So it gives it a really good stamped image that's very variegated in colour. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean off the larger flower. I'm bringing in the Pear Pizzazz in. I'm just going to stamp all round in that Pear Pizzazz. So that should be it. Now when I made this one, I actually made the pieces because I didn't know how much I was going to need. So my stamping piece was this big and I have heaps left over. So in my supplies, my piece of Whisper White is a lot less, but these you could cut out and use for another project as well. So let's bring the Big Shot in and we'll just die cut all those pieces. So I have my large flower die there. And I'm also going to do my small flower. Oh, what way does it go? Oh, we need a plate on that bottom bit. That wouldn't have been good. Okay, that's got it. And I'll cut out a leaf there as well. See how that gives that gorgeous colour in there? I'm going to do one more leaf, so I've effectively cut out 4 full leaves. I think that should be enough. I'm also going to bring in the clear epoxy droplets, and using the dark Old Olive, I'm just going to colour in 2 smaller ones and one of the large droplets. Beautiful. Just pop that to the side, just let that dry for a couple of minutes. So now we're going to pop all our pieces onto our cards. So we have, I'll lay them out first. Just like and this one I'm going to cut off one of the leaves, so just like that. And then I'm also going to cut off that piece there, so I've just got a little bit there. And these are all just going to be placed on top. So let's put some dimensionals on the back of all the flowers, because they're all nicely popped up, which makes it look really pretty. And the leaves we're just going to glue down with some Tombow glue. That big one I might stick 2 down. And while we have the dimensions out as well, let's stick down that piece. They're really pretty colours, these Merry Merlot and Pear Pizzazz. Okay, just line so it's all even. It's nowhere near even. I'm struggling today, sorry guys. That's better. Okay, so let's put some glue down on these pieces. I'm just going to stick a clear block over the top just to help with the gluing process. So now that everyone's had a time to look through the new holiday catalogue, what's everyone's favourite? I'd love to hear what you gravitate to, what your favourite sweet is, or just item. I really think this one's a really pretty one, but I definitely gravitate towards the Santa's workshop. I think that is just the cutest little set. So now I'm going to stick all my flowers down. So the big one up here. And this one down the bottom on the left hand side has two. Okay. Another big one on the bottom right hand side. There we go. So the last thing we need to do is just put our droplets on. So we've got one at this corner and then the big one underneath. And the other small one just there. Give you a close-up to see that a little bit better. That is a really pretty card, and I think would make a great Christmas card for all your friends and family. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed this frosted floral card that we've made. If you have, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to leave me a comment, and if you haven't hit subscribe yet, please do so you don't miss my next video. Don't forget you can head over to my blog for all the details, measurements and supplies. There is also a link there to my online store, so if you need to purchase some Stampin' Up supplies and you live in Australia, you don't already have a demonstrator, I would love to be a demonstrator. Pop that Hostess code in there with your order and I can send you out a free gift as well. Okay, until next time, you enjoy your day. Bye.